Okay, this is page 2. Name the cadences. You have to identify the chords, and if they have figured bass numbers to go with them, you have to be able to do that. And then from the chords that you get and the specifics of their inversions and things, you should be able to tell what the cadences are. I'm going to do this. I suspect that many of you have memorized the cadences. This part of identifying chords and things is challenging for some of you, maybe. And the better we get at this, the better we go. Okay, key of A minor. Again, all of these are going to be in minor. So here we go. Looks like we have a D, an F, an A, and a D, which is a D chord, D minor. In this key, that's the 4th scale degree, and it is a minor chord. Okay, so that's my 4 chord. It's in root position. I don't need anything for root position triads. They don't need figure bass. They are what they are. And that probably means that this is either a 1 or a 5 chord, because it's going to be either 4-1, which is plagal cadence, or 4-5, which is a half cadence right here. So, and it's A and C and D, which is A minor. Right? That's a 1. And so 4-1 is a plagal cadence, right? Sometimes called the Amen cadence. If you're wondering how do you get faster at it, obviously spelling your chords and your scales and matching together, playing jazz, analyzing pieces like this, that helps. In the short term, you might consider drawing out your scale and figuring out, what your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chords are. Make sure that you put harmonic minor for your 5 chord and harmonic minor for your 7 diminished leading tone chord. Okay. Here we have E minor and we have a C and an E and an A. It's not a C chord, that'd be C, E, G. It's an A, C, E chord, and that's 4 as well. And we're in minor. But the third of the chord is right here. And so it's a 4-6. And we have a B and a B and a D sharp. It's incomplete because we only have 3 voices and they resolve a certain way, but clearly B, B, D sharp is the beginning of a B, D sharp, and F sharp, which is an E minor 5 chord right there. Okay, now, if you called this a half cadence, you're only half correct. It is a half cadence because it ends on 5. But if you remember, a chord that a half cadence that is originated on in the minor key from a 4-6 chord is a special one. It's called the Phrygian cadence. If you said half cadence, I'd give you partial points, but it's Phrygian cadence, right? Inverted 4-6 in a minor going to the 5. I haven't put this here to remind you that we pause here, and it's in a middle movement, slow movement probably of a piece of music in the Baroque that then moves on to the next movement, and after pausing there, feels like it needs to go on. Okay. All right. Key of F minor. I have an F, a C, an A flat, and an F. Looks like an F chord. This is doing voice exchange, but it's still a C and an F right there. Right. This is classic contrary motion voice exchange. I'm in the key of F. This is my 1 chord right there. Okay. C, E natural, G, C. This is a C chord. In this key, that's a 5 chord. And it's both root positions. We don't need to do anything because this is E natural, right? It's a major 5, right? And this is just your garden variety half cadence. Anything ending on a 5 is a half cadence. We have the special version of the half cadence right there, Phrygian cadence. All right, G minor. Okay. So C, C, A, and E flat. Well, C, E, G, no. A, C, E flat, yes. So it's an A chord, right? And that in this key is 2. A, C, E flat is diminished. C is the third of the chord, and so that's a first inversion chord. We need our figured bass right there. Okay. D, now 2s like to go to 5. I'm expecting that. In the key of G, that's a D chord. D, F sharp, A, C. This is because of the harmonic minor scale to make this a 5 chord. It has a 7th on top. Oh boy, we get a 5 chord here, but look, it goes E flat, G, G, B flat. This is not a 1 chord. That would be G, B flat, D, right? This is a 6 chord. 6 chords are major, E flat, G, B flat, right? This is what we call a deceptive cadence where you had some kind of 5 or 7 chord saying, heck yeah, we're going to 1, but then it doesn't. It tricks you, in this case going to 6, which is the most common. Notice just like before in the other ones that T is going to Do because we're doing a 5 chord going to a 6 chord in a minor key. T has to go to Do. Okay. All right. Down here, I'm in the key of B flat. Look at all those flats. It's so beautiful, right? And, you know, if you want to look at this, there's A, that's the leading tone. So this is going to be a 7 or a 5 chord of some kind, right? 5 chord would be an F chord. 7 chord would be an A chord. A, C, E flat, F. I think it's F, A, C, E flat, right? I'm going through these a lot faster. Like I said, generally with this kind of work, students have memorized their cadences, or at least that's the easiest thing to do. The hard part is, of course, having the facility and fluency with your notes and your scales and keys to come up with these things. So F, A natural, right? Because it's a harmonic minor, C, E flat. This is going to be a 5 chord. It's got a 7th on it, but it's in first inversion, so it's 6/5. Okay. And then that's going to a 1 chord right here, right? B flat, F and D, B flat, D, F, right? It's my 1 chord, it's minor. Okay. And finally, oh, what kind of cadence is it? Well, it's a 5 chord going to a 1 chord, but this is an inversion. And so it's not root position. And this is not the root of the chord up top, even though it's a root down there. So this is an imperfect authentic cadence, right? Authentic cadences are 5s going to 1s or 7s going to 1s, some kind of dominant going to a tonic, but it doesn't have all the attributes of a perfect authentic cadence, which means this is going to be a perfect authentic cadence because we haven't seen one yet. So powers of deductive reasoning. Yeah, let's just check it out. I'm in the key of D. I'm going to cheat and do this backwards, which is the way I would have done it if I were not making an answer key for you. D, F, A, D. This is my 1 chord. It's in root position. It's got the root up top right there. This is totally going to be a 5 chord in root position. It's going to be a, E, C sharp, A, C sharp, E. It's my 5 chord, no 7th on it. It's in root position. And it really doesn't matter what this chord is for the cadence because that's all we needed to know. Here's Do up top, Do on the bottom for my 1 chord, and there's a root position 5 chord. This is a perfect authentic cadence, right? Now, this other chord, just in case you wanted to know, it's going to be a predominant, right? It's a D, an A, and an F. It's not even predominant. It's just my tonic chord again, right? D, F, D, A, right? But it's in first inversion. All right, not uncommon. So that's it there. And let me give you one little piece of advice here. It's totally worth your time to double check and make sure that you understand chord qualities and figured bases, right? You will find that, gosh, is it even, I'm going to guesstimate, 20%, 30% of lost marks on tests like these come from, I knew this, but I got that wrong. I lost a point because I went and did like that instead. Pay attention to the details. You can't afford to lose, 15, 20, even 10%. That's a whole letter grade right there, or 2 sometimes, because you didn't think about chord qualities or figured bass. Everything like that helps you gain points, but also really helps you like do this quickly and confidently and consistently, right? So you can't fix that all at once, but you can be very methodical on your midterm this weekend coming up. Okay, last page. Forms. Identify the phrase forms. All right, are these periods, are they sentences? I did not put anything in here about remembering to put in like contrary or symmetrical or that kind of thing, because you should know as a mature student that that's important in the naming. So if you put in period, great. But if you didn't put the other stuff in, you lose points. Okay. And so, you just know that that's part of the game here. I have a cadence and I have a cadence, less conclusive, more conclusive. This is going to be a period. These are different. This is 2 measures. That's 4 more measures to get from there to there. So they're not the same length and they're different materials. This is a contrasting because A and B, right? Asymmetrical because the phrase lengths are different lengths, period. Hurrah. Okay. This one right here, X, no cadence, X prime, so fragment, fragment, and then Y, cadence. This is a classic sentence. Just write sentence. You do not need to tell me any more than that because we don't care about, obviously they're contrasting in some way and it's obviously not symmetrical in some way. We just call it a sentence. Okay, those two are the easy ones. These are tricky ones here. Okay, takes a little more presence of mind. A, B, B. Okay, half cadence, perfect authentic, perfect not cadence. This is a repeat of that, 4 measures and 4 measures long. So what we have here is we have, you don't have to draw this in, but I want to make this obvious for you. We have our antecedent and our consequent right there, like that. This is a contrasting period because the material here is different from the material there, A's and B's. This is asymmetrical because this phrase is 6 measures long and this is 4 and the repeat is 4. So, you know, this is not like the repeat doesn't really count, right? But the two different sections are different lengths, okay? And it's a 3-phrase period with the consonant consequent repeated. So the full answer is, this is a contrasting, right? Because A's and then B's. Asymmetrical because the first phrase is 6 measures long and the next one's 4, right? And then we just repeat the 4 again. 3-phrase period. And if you want to get really technical with consequent, that's the second part of the period, repeated, right? Because that phrase happens twice. Okay. Yeah, it's a little tricky, but now you know. Okay. Well, A, B, A, C. This should be the most confusing of all. And I bring this up because I feel like although we've talked about it, we haven't put you through a grueling amount of this before. So I'm going to refer you to a place in chapter 10 to study after this, okay, as well. So this is called the double period. Okay, a double period is when you have a period that's so big that the consequent and the antecedent, both parts are multi-phrased, right? So if we look here, see how there's an A there and an A there? This is the beginning of the antecedent. This is the beginning of the consequent right there. Double periods are periods where the antecedent and the consequent are so big that they have 2 phrases in each part. I'll show you a page in place in the textbook in a minute, so you can continue to study this. So you can see that you're going along and you have a phrase and you go, aha, I'm going to have a period here, I'm sure, right? It's going to be something. And you go, aha, it's contrasting. Oh, wait, this does not work. This is a signal when it starts up again here. This is a double period, okay? Remember that we're only interested in the last cadences of these sections. These don't form a period, right? These don't. Well, I guess they do form a period, right? But these don't right there. And this is already lodged in a bigger form. So what we have here is 2 phrases and 2 phrases that form a antecedent and a consequence that are linked with less conclusive and more conclusive. So this is a 4, 8, 12, 16, same lengths. And these are similar, the beginnings of both. This is a parallel because they have similar beginnings to their 2 sections. Symmetrical because, for 8 measures, and we just call it a double period because 2 phrases in each part. Now, I highly encourage you to go to your textbook to page 158 And it spells it all out for you right there and gives you examples like that. Okay. And there's about 3 pages there that are really, really good to study. Yeah. Okay. I mean, all of it's good to study, but go to page 158 and 159 in your book and study that up so you feel good about that. Okay. All right. This one right here is a trick question. A, half cadence, B, half cadence, A, half cadence. They're all the same cadence. Nothing's more conclusive. This is not a period. If you wrote not a period, that's pretty good, right? If you want a technical word for this, this is just a phrase group. A bunch of phrases that hang out together that don't form a period or a sentence or a double period or something like that. Again, it's just, can you look at this and say, aha. When you have a phrase group, not a period, you don't have to worry about if they're the same length or anything. That's all just red herring. Don't worry about it. Okay, finally, can you draw some of these, right? How are you at drawing some of these diagrams? So it says, give me a parallel symmetrical period where the first phrase is 6 measures long and the second phrase ends in an IAC. So a parallel symmetrical period, it's not a double period, it's not a 3-phrase period. We just have 2 phrases. There's your antecedent. There's your consequent right there, okay? The first phrase is 6 measures, and it says it's symmetrical. So that means that this has to be 6 measures as well. So that's going to be 12 right there, okay? It also says that it's parallel. So this is going to be A, right? And this is going to be A prime because it can't be exactly the same because the cadences are different. So the music will be slightly different at the end, right? And it says the second phrase ends in an IAC right there. So that means a less conclusive cadence that you're going to use here is a half cadence. You notice we never use plagal cadences. They almost never come into it for this kind of stuff. It's really about half cadences, perfect authentic cadences, and perfect authentic cadences. That's it right there. So this is a parallel, A and A prime, right? Symmetrical, 6 measures and 6 measures, period, where the last phrase has an IAC. So to make this be a period, a less conclusive cadence is right there. All right, finally, a repeated phrase. That's super easy. You just go A, and whatever you want for a cadence, it doesn't matter what it is. You want it to be a PAC, you make a PAC. You want it to be a half cadence, you make it a half cadence. It doesn't matter what it is. Just these guys and these guys have to be the same, right? And then the distance, even though my drawing doesn't look it, right, should be the same. So if you go 4 there, it's 8 there. If you go 2 there, it's 4 there, right? Because it has to be exactly the same to be a repeated phrase, not a period because the cadences are the same. Whew. Well, that's a lot right there. Your midterm proper is going to be exactly this, minus maybe the format. Like, for instance, maybe this will be done digitally in Finale, so it'll be clean as opposed to handwritten. Or maybe this will be pictures inside Canvas that you have to identify and type what it is or something like that. But you're going to get a page where you do every single connection method, okay? You're going to get a page where you do every single cadence and analyze the chords and the figured bass, okay? And you're going to get a page where you have to identify phrase forms, right? And draw some phrase forms, okay? So, and that's it. I'm not going to surprise you with anything else. I also promise they will all be in the minor keys, just like here, because you deserve to focus on minor keys and get good at those and not be scared of them, all right? Don't lose points if you can at all by misspelling things, wrong writing clefs, misspelling chords, especially things like forgetting natural signs and stuff like that, right? Don't forget the exceptions to the rules as well. All right. I'm not going to put up the midterm till about Saturday afternoon, just so you know. But then you'll have all weekend. Heck, you can even go into Monday because that's it. This particular term is is a holiday, President's Day. That's it. Good luck with that. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday.